Have you ever wondered how you just get an instant pull towards some people? You just feel like you want to hang out with them, you want to be friends with them and whatever. This simply is because they have an invisible aura. Because I remember this one day, I was walking in the gym and I just realized that everybody was looking at me in a great way. I was kind of like creating and manipulating reality. I was literally thinking to myself, now when I'm walking out, I know that everybody will look at me kind of like, you know, when somebody walks in the room and everybody just kind of like gives a glance at them simply because they have a huge like presence in the room. This simply comes down to your aura. And I walked into the gym and I realized that one person looked at me, then just a second later, another one, and then the person right behind them also watched me. So I kind of like got eye contact, I almost smiled to myself. Then when I walked through the treadmills where people were running, I remember just three more people looked at me. It was kind of like this, and then another one, and then another one. It was simply like magic. I kind of like got people's attention just like this without trying. And this was such a pivotal moment for me when I realized that just working with yourself a little bit and utilizing a few tips and tricks, that you can literally create an aura for yourself and an ability to kind of like get people's attention in a positive way, where people look at you when you walk into a room because you simply know that you are confident. And it's very, very simple. And today I'm going to lay it out for you, what I've learned in 2.5 years, and I'm just going to do it in under 30 minutes for you. So first of all, my story, as I just told you, it's very, very powerful. And the system that we're going to utilize is pretty simple. It's first of all, it's your self-identity slash self-image. It's how you perceive yourself. And then we also have some bonus points where I'm also going to talk about. So it simply comes down to, first of all, the core thing. If you imagine it kind of like this, if you imagine it kind of like Earth, the thing that is in the middle is the most important. Then we have a few other layers outside. So this is your self-identity, and then you can work with like practical stuff that you can utilize as well. So the proven protocol. Why self-image? Well, you have proof that I literally done this, and there's also several studies that I will put up on the screen right here that prove that just practicing in your mind and trying to visualize something, which I will also get into, will literally get you almost the same results as doing it something in real life. Isn't that crazy that you can do something in your mind and your mind will literally think that it is real? So you will get better at this skill simply from practicing up here. Imagine what an advantage you can get in school or in a sport or whatever when you just start to improve your self-image, because this will help you slingshot your own confidence. And self-image is simply how you perceive yourself, and why self-image, I just described it. And what is self-image? It's simply your perception of yourself. It's the perception of oneself. So how do you currently perceive yourself? It's a great question to ask yourself, because if you view yourself as confident, as happy, as fulfilled, you're most likely that type of person. But if you view yourself perhaps as an introvert, not really social, you have a little bit of anxiety, you view yourself as low status, the results will probably be somewhere around that. And even though that might be true, that you feel like you're low status or that you are not very extroverted, why have that self-identity? Why not create a self-identity that will help you get even further results, that will make you even more comfortable and just more confident overall? I'm not saying to lie to yourself, I'm not saying to do any of these things. I'm simply saying to improve your own self-identity so that you can become more authentic with who you are. And what I mean by this is simply be authentic, but improve your self-identity. So in social situations, you can literally just turn it on like that. And that was a bad snap, by the way. That you can literally just turn on that side of you, and you will literally have it up here. So the perception you have will literally dictate where you end up, because if you imagine a dream that you have had, and you kind of like, you think of it as a weird dream, and you think to yourself about a memory that you had from about a year ago. At least for me, I have my memories and my dreams the exact same way, and I think there are studies to prove this as well, that your brain can't tell the difference of what is real and what you've dreamt about. So why not start visualizing real life happenings? So for example, what I'm saying about this is simply that if your brain can tell what is real and what is not real, then why not create some fake things that will help you in the future? So for example, what I do is I visualize, I play mental moving, kind of like I create a future memory for myself via visualization and for me to be able to accomplish my goals, because I kind of like create a memory for myself I haven't fulfilled it yet, but my brain will think it's real and work to justify it simply because I've started to visualize it. I have very, very specific data on how I did it. So how do we change it? It's pretty simple. First of all, you need to define where you are right now. You need to define where you want to end up. You have A and B point. You have a destination, a specific destination. You have a cool reason for that. This is just a brief outline and I will dive in deeper. Then you simply do the habit of visualizing and putting in affirmations, and then you just have some action to justify it, and that will equal growth in your own self-identity and in your own life. This will help you in so many ways because you cannot exceed through your current level of how you're perceiving yourself, because whenever you change, you are not the person who's changing. You've simply shifted your identity so that you became the person who are doing these things. So for example, when I decided that now I'm going to turn on into Victor 2.0, I simply first of all decided now I'm going to do like the 2.0 version of my YouTube channel, and since that point I've gradually improved myself, and about a month later than that, I simply realized that I've improved very, very significantly. And then what happened was that I realized that now I'm going to turn myself, I think this was like the 8th of March, like a month ago. And I simply, since that point, have been working harder than ever before. I've removed so many distractions. My phone is on grayscale mode. My phone is on black and white. My computer is on black and white. I have meditated every single day since that day. I am stretching more often. I'm creating even more content. I'm putting even more effort and intention into these things. And you know what is pretty interesting? It all started with how I perceived myself. I set 3 goals that I wanted to achieve, and then I started to work to justify it because I knew that I wasn't there. So first of all, define your B point. So first of all, where are you right now? Define your A point, because to be honest, when you are in a rut or when you haven't really been improving yourself lately, you almost always overestimate your level of skill currently. So for example, if you say to yourself, okay, so I am very, very disciplined because 6 months ago I was running very, very consistently, but now I don't really do it anymore, and you come up with an excuse. It's completely fine. It happens to all of us that we get into a rut, but simply realize that in all likelihood, if you have been like struggling a little bit during the last couple of like weeks or months or whatever, simply lower the amount and lower the volume. There's nothing wrong with this. I did this in like February and March when I wanted to get up to like meditating even more often. I simply did like 1-minute sessions, even though I could have easily done like 5 or 10 minutes, and then I slowly woke myself up, and now I'm consistent and I do it every single day without really having to fight it and do it with lots and lots of grit and discipline. So what you simply need to do is you need to slowly start to adapt your self-identity. So define your A point and do it with complete honesty. Then define your B point, and what I would suggest is kind of like have like a 10 to 25% increase in your current self. So for example, to just make this very, very easy, if you were making $1,000 per month, for example, from an online business, you cannot visualize yourself having like $1 billion in 1 month. That is simply not realistic. But a more realistic thing is, okay, so I've set myself the goal that I wanted to make 1,200 next month. You simply visualize that you get like $1,250 next month. That's like I think it is a 25% improvement from your last month. And what you do is that you start to visualize this exact moment, because now you define your B point, and what you just need to do is you just need to get into the habit of seeing yourself as the person who's already got the success, who's already got the goal. So when you start to visualize this, you will literally turn your mindset around and become such so much stronger, and you will literally start to create the identity that you are this person. One thing that I've also done every single time that I've grew the most on YouTube, it has always came from a period where I visualized and I started to do things with more intention simply because I visualized and I started to change my own perception of myself. So what you simply need to do is the habit of visualizing. So what you simply do is that you play a mental movie. You create a future memory of yourself. And the more specific you can be about this, so for example, it can be, if you want to have a goal for June, for example, it is June, and it's no clouds on the sky, 0 clouds, and there's warm weather outside, and you're walking up to your room, and you have this fresh summer air, and you log onto your computer, and you see that you've gotten into this university or whatever, or you see your grades, or you see that you've started an online business, or you have got to this amount of subscribers. You simply see the exact moment of success, and you literally are so detailed that it is like a memory. So just make this as like a future memory. And the interesting part here is that try to also feel, how did it feel to accomplish this goal? Because if you do this, you're literally creating a new memory for yourself, and you're manipulating reality that you've already accomplished something, and your mind will think it's real. So when you do get back into the mode and you open your eyes again, you simply will understand, I want to work towards this now because I have a vision for myself of a future. And you also visualize the exact like things that it took for you to do it. So one thing that I like to visualize, I'm not going to say my specific goals simply because when you talk about your goals, you're less likely to actually pursue them simply because your mind also thinks that you've already accomplished them. So what I like to do is simply think to myself, what were the key actions? And one of the things that I like to think about is when I get home from school, I do work. And what's even more interesting is that I am doing work currently because I've visualized it. You see the power of this. You just need to get into visualizing and starting to manifest things. And now you will start to take action. And what you simply need to do is take small actions towards your goal every single day. And this will help you get to those new 25%, and then you just simply go and pursue it. Do it every single day and have your goal reasonably unreasonable with a 10 to 25% improvement. If you can't do 25%, lower it until you accomplish it. Because one thing that I did wrong with YouTube was that I set myself sky high goals, which is not a bad thing, but it's very hard for you to manifest it when you do not have the skill set to actually fulfill it. So what I simply did then was that I lowered the goals. I simply tried to put in more action towards improving myself. Then I could improve my own self-identity. So bonus points. Do this to boost attention. So for example, if you're in a social gathering, or for example, one thing that you can do is literally just turn your shoulders when you're standing straight. Just instead of just standing like this, turn your shoulders back just 5%. You see that little shift. If you have your shoulders like this, and then you just move it backwards a little bit and be relaxed. Just turn your shoulders back like this much, just 5% more. That will simply symbolize that you're confident, that you're social, because in our like monkey brains, in our caveman brains, we simply see, oh, happy, healthy, confident person who owns their own space. And this is simply one of the things. Posture is important. And you can also do like stretches to improve your posture. One thing that you can do that seems a little bit funny, if you just do this 1 or 2 minutes per day, you will kind of like get rid of this kind of like iPhone neck, kind of like curved neck when you are like this. Everybody has it to a degree, but you can just improve it a little bit by just doing chin tucks and spending less time on your phone as well. Chin tucks is simply that you do this. You literally drag, you pull your chin towards kind of like your throat and this part, and you simply will feel a stretch right here. And be careful without this, so that you don't injure yourself, and research it even more. Like, do this, you pull your shoulders a little bit back, and then you simply do this. Think of it like this. You simply want to pull your double chin out as much as possible. And then you just continue to do that to improve kind of like this iPhone 9. Another thing that you can do is you can go to a door and you kind of like, if you would have like a door just like this, you take your hands like this and you hold it and you pull yourself forward so that you feel a deep stretch in your own like chest. And this is how you improve your posture, because once you have your posture fixed, then people will also see that you have even like higher status. And this is simply to symbolize to other people that you are confident and stuff like that. So what you simply need to do is go out and do these things, take action. And another thing is just to breathe fully. Don't be afraid to take deep breaths and relax your stomach. Literally breathe from your like stomach and gut all the way in, all the way out. Just take a few of those breaths and just feel how much power you regain. And I'm not saying that breathing fully is literally like a power thing, but just kind of like breathe fully when you're walking and just put your shoulders a little bit back and just put your chin up just a little bit, just slightly, to symbolize to other people that you're confident and you own your own space, because this will symbolize in their own caveman brains subconsciously that you are the type of person who's actually doing this. And you also need to live a life of growth. Now you might ask, why? Why do I need to do that? Why can't I just implement these things? Because when you do it, you will also create confidence, because with these hacks, it all works if you just put yourself on a new mission. And I will teach you how you can get onto a new mission, find your new purpose, if you just join my community. If you want to learn more, just click the link in the description. See the results that I've gotten with this. I've built an aesthetic body. I've generated over 1 million YouTube views in 90 days. I've achieved top grades with very, very minimalistic studying. I have generated so significant results with my mindset and creating a strong sense of purpose. I really, really do hope that you got some value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.